Like, Racquelle, you putting these people before yourself. And I realized that later on in life because I was starting to get like burnt out in friendships.
Being Gen Z, like you saying that you don't set boundaries is weird to me. Like I set boundaries like that. Like with
you're not people pleasers. I think our generation were people pleasers. Like to a fault.
I'm a damn good mother, yes. But sometimes if I'm not taking care of me, I can't take care of him.
Welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real, where we have real conversations with extraordinary people in multi-million-dollar homes. I'm your host, Erica Rawls, and today I have the pleasure of being with some dynamic women. You hear me? Of all ages. Do you hear me? So we're going to get right into it. We're going to have a conversation. The topic today is going to be the things I wish I would have known when I was younger. Because you know what? We all know life starts lifing after college or even after high school, depending if you don't decide to go into college. So what are some of the things that you wish you know? Well, we're going to get into that and some more. So stay tuned. Here we go. So I have with us here the Miss Lovely Quencey Hickerson. Hey, and we have Brooke Anderson and Racquelle Perry and Daneisha Stevens over there, who's just so happy to be with us, y'all. So happy.
McQuay. You know,
McQuay.
You know, I changed my name.
Oh, keeping it real. Keeping it real.
I was supposed to be her second mom, y'all. Sorry about that. So I would like for you to each introduce yourselves, right? Okay. So people can get an understanding of who you are and a little bit about your background so we can have some really good conversation. Okay? You want to start with Daneisha McQuay? Yeah. Daneisha McQuay.
Okay. I'm Daneisha. A little bit about myself. I'm 30. I am a mom of one 6-year-old. I am married, and I am...
Because he put a ring on it. Go ahead.
Oh
Insert single ladies.
I can see already this is going to be hilarious. Go ahead.
You know what? I can't sit next to her.
Yes, you can.
For a living, I am a labor and delivery registered nurse, and I am more than halfway through my program to become a family nurse practitioner.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. Yes.
Let me say something. I'll say something not on paper about me is I'm a new Pilates girl.
I love that.
Yes.
We're going to
Heavy
do
on
it.
the Pilates.
Yeah. Please.
Oh,
No, I wish.
Okay, Racquelle, please.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Racquelle Perry. I am a Harrisburg native, born and raised by way of Jamaica.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I am currently a high school business teacher. Back in November, I published a children's book, Layla Travels the World to Learn Her ABCs, as a way for families to start the conversation about travel in the house, because what I realized is African-American families don't always speak about travel because we think it's a major financial obligation. So I use the book as a way for kids to escape and for families to start that conversation.
I love that.
I think that's it.
Did you say you were a teacher?
Yes.
That's awesome. And Miss the lovely Brooke Anderson, and you may be the youngest of the crew.
Hello, I am Brooke Anderson. I'm 19. I graduated high school just last June. I got my real estate license in January, started taking classes in September, and I'm now with Keller Williams. It's very exciting. Fun fact, I have 2 mothers, lucky me. So I love my life. They're the best people ever. And I'm just really excited to continue my career with such great people.
I love that. Thank you so much. And we're going to leave it with Miss Quencey Hickerson to bring it home.
Hello, my name is Quencey Hickerson, born and raised in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Cougar to the day I die.
So for the people that don't live in Pennsylvania, that is a school in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. It is the hub in the city of Harrisburg.
See, I was thinking something else.
See? That's exactly why. See, that's exactly what I wanted to clarify. Yes.
But besides Harrisburg, I did go on to the real HU, Howard University in Washington, D.C. I got my degree in marketing. Was kind of didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Was always a staple in my community, giving back, volunteering with the kids, the youth. So I said, let me be a teacher. So I'm currently in school now to get my certification and my master's in education. And I'm currently a high school math teacher.
I love that.
Nice.
Thank
She
you
went
so
to the
much.
fake HU.
Uh,
I
real
went to the real
HU.
one.
Oh goodness.
She
What
went to
school did
Okay,
you
what's the
Hampton
Oh, you went to
University. I did.
Hampton.
And then what's
The
the-
Hampton
Exactly.
University.
So Hampton University and what's
Howard.
Howard?
The real HU. Thank
Sorry.
Come on.
They are so funny. Look, okay. So I'm gonna try to keep this together as much as I possibly can. Look, already having complications, y'all. We'll see how we make out. Good Lordy. Here we go. So the reason why I want to have a conversation with you all, this really came to me as all my topics of the podcast come to me. And I was thinking, okay, who could bring some really good dynamic to the conversation? So ideally, if I'm being 100% honest, I wanted various races, right? And then I started thinking, you know what? I don't know enough people in our area, right? And I also wanted age groups. So I'm glad that you all stepped up. Brooke, I'm excited because you're here only because you are 19 years old and she decided a different career path. So I'm just interested to see the different various views of the questions that I asked. So the one question I do have, like looking back at your childhood, what is the one piece of advice that you wish you would have listened to when you were living at home? And anyone can start.
I can start.
Go ahead, Brooke.
Yeah, bro.
One piece of advice is my mom always told me, like, don't grow up too fast. And I was like, oh, because I always wanted to be like a teenager when I was 12. I was so excited to turn 13. And like, as soon as I turned 15, I was like, I want to be 20 when I, like, you know what I mean? So it was just like, I always wanted to be older and older. And then once I hit 18, I was like, wait, okay, we can pump the brakes. Like, I thought back and I was like, she's right. Like, I grew up like this, like, and I didn't even remember like being 15, you know, like thinking back right now, I don't even know what I did when I was 15. And it's just so weird, you know, to think about like how quickly things do happen. And coming right out of high school, getting my real estate license, like I feel like I might have stripped myself of, you know, like a last piece of childhood, but it is the best decision I've ever made. Like, so it's a good thing and a bad thing, but overall, I think it was a great piece of advice, and I wish I listened to it better.
Yeah. So what do you think attributed to what you wanting to grow up so fast?
I always wanted like a family, you know, like, and so when I was younger, I would always play house, and I would just have like, you know, like dolls, and I'd be like, you're my daughter, and like, I still obviously want that, but just obviously not right now. But
Wait it out, baby. Wait it out.
I wasn't going to
Wait it out, baby. Wait it out.
I was trying to be respectful.
Yeah.
I was like, I was just
Wait it out.
Y'all are so funny.
yeah, I can, not right now, but
Not right now.
but yeah, I always wanted that family, and like obviously growing up without like a father figure, it was like a little bit tougher, and so I always wanted to find like the right person so that I didn't leave my kids without that. Do you know what I mean? Like I always wanted to find somebody who will be there. So it's been tough. Obviously I'm 19, so I don't need to find a husband right now, but it's like I have a wonderful boyfriend, so you know, like wishful thinking.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. So then anyone else have any insight, the things that they wish they would have listened to when they were a child?
This is kind of a hard question for me. I don't want to say my parents never told me anything, but I feel like I was kind of raised in a household where it was like you kind of got to learn through experience.
Ooh, tell us more.
So my mom wasn't super strict. Like, of course, we was brought up Black household like everybody else. Like, she would yell and do her do, but for the most part, she wasn't really strict. Like, if me and my brother, I have one older brother that I live with, 6 years older than me, so that kind of puts it into perspective. Whenever we wanted to do anything, we were pretty much able to do it. I feel like, I don't really have anything that I feel like I should have listened to rather than like save your money, like anything. I feel like all of our things were more financial. Like, she pretty much let us fly when it came to developing and growing up.
Okay.
And I kind of appreciate her for that because that's what you have to do out here in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you really have to learn things through experience. Somebody could tell you only but so much. You're not going to know what to do until you're in that situation.
Right. So then it sounds like the relationship that you and your mom had was one that, okay, you had an experience, you would take it back, have a conversation about it, and then maybe she would give you some additional insight on it.
Yeah, like,
and yet
maybe
she
you
wasn't
should-
real.
Right, like maybe you should have did this way, or when I did that, and it's like I didn't know that you did that until I actually did it. So it wasn't like a preface or anything. We weren't being proactive about it, I should say.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Racquelle?
Well, I grew up, and it's like I would always say, I grew up in America, but home was not America. And like I said, my mother is Jamaican, so I grew up in a Jamaican household, and what that means is it's more so of I'm telling you what to do, and that's what you need to do. It's
Right.
not a like Quencey's experience where you have free range.
Yeah.
And she
doing that.
she said, but I didn't really have much choice in a lot of the things. And like I think back now, one of the major things she probably was trying to nail into me was something about friendships as a young age, because I'm always I don't want to say girls because that's girls girl, that's cliche, but like I'm always the person who wants my friends to know like I'm present and like I'm here. And she would always be like, Racquelle, you putting these people before yourself. And I realized that later on in life because I was starting to get like burnt out in friendships. So if it's anything that I feel like I probably should have listened to her more about was putting myself first in friendships while still honoring those friendships, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Yeah. Because you can lose yourself trying to impress your friends.
Right.
You definitely can. Yeah, I love that advice. Miss Daneisha
McQuay.
She made sure of it.
You know what? Oh, okay. So for me, I would say one of the biggest things I feel like I wish I would have listened to growing up was to have fun. I feel like I really lacked that. Like I kind of, like Brooke, I didn't want to grow up, but I kind of felt like I had to. I was the only child growing up. Like I just always was kind of doing my own thing. I don't want to say fend for myself, but it was just me. So I think once I became an adult, I was right off the back, like 18. I'm like, I'm going to get a place, a car. I'm worried about my credit. Like I want to get a career. I didn't go straight to college, so I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then I found out, so then I went to school. And I just felt like I was always chasing stability. Like I always wanted to be okay. Like I always wanted to have my own money. I always wanted to just be like independent. So having fun and even still, honestly, like it's always on a back burner for me. It's like, but it's different when you're a parent. Like, and now it's like, oh, well, now I don't really have the space to just go and have fun. I have to kind of schedule that. So I would say that I wish, not that was a word.
Ooh, that hit.
Why did that hit?
Scheduling your
You
fun.
really have to schedule for. I did forget to mention. I don't know how I forgot to mention.
I'm a mom too. I
am a
forgot that
mom
too.
of a 3-year-old.
You know what, baby? Yes. Mom did forget.
Mom of a 3-year-old, and you really have to schedule that fun. Like, put it in a planner. Text people 2 weeks ahead of time. Like, hey.
Is it because you're a mom or you just that busy?
Both.
Mine is a mixture of both.
Both, for sure.
Right.
But my daughter is half of the problem.
Yeah.
Like,
Wait, but you don't have any children, right? That we don't know of on this episode.
No.
Not that I know of.
That you know?
Yeah, no, seriously, I gotta make sure.
I'm like, how long does this going to be?
Okay, so this is a great segue because my next question I do have, how did your family relationship shape your views on love and friendships? Is there anything you would have done differently in those relationships? So thank you for that segue. Who's going to start with?
I can start.
Yes.
I would say my family dynamic shaped my friend relationship. Like being the only child, I felt like I always wanted friends. I was the only child. Like I have a teenage sister now, but I'm 30 with a teenage sister. So like I didn't grow up with her. So I felt like I always was lonely and always wanted friends. And I would say that, like Racquelle said, like I always felt like I needed to like include my friends versus like my friends where I grew up, like in the hood, their kids, people had 4 or 5 kids, so they didn't need to include me. Versus me, where I was always like, it's just me. So I'm like, do you want to hang out? Do you want to do this? Or like felt the need to include people in what I was doing. So I felt like that kind of shaped how I felt about friends, always needing to make sure they were okay. And I would say like as I turned 30, maybe last year, 29, that I like really got out of that, and I never thought that I would. So I'm grateful for that, because now like you'll catch me anywhere by myself.
What about love? How's your family dynamics actually help you frame your, the way you think about love?
We said
love relationships.
We said friends. We gonna go right to the love. You gonna do that to me?
I didn't figure out what you were dropping.
Oh, okay. Like you gonna do that to me? Like really?
Okay, so Racquelle, please.
Like can we stay on the friends? Like, can we?
I can talk about love.
Hello. I felt like that was for me. I felt like she set me up for that.
I did not.
Yes. I grew up in a single parent household, mom. And my father, when I was younger, I can't remember the age, but he was in jail for a little bit. So I didn't grow up seeing mom and dad in home. I also didn't grow up seeing affection in home. Mm-hmm. And what I realized later on in life, now as I'm raising my daughter, is I have to teach my daughter affection. Because I don't want her to grow up in a household where a hug is awkward or an I love you is awkward. Because we're going to keep it real. It's very rare that my mother and I or my father and I say I love you. Like the feeling is there, but the word or words of affirmation, that's not there, right? So I'm now a place where, yes, I'm dating to marry, and it's kind of difficult. It's kind of difficult because I don't know what a proper, healthy marriage looks like. Because if it is me to be the person to get married, I'm the first person on my mother's side in terms of her siblings. Only her brother is the only one with like a healthy marriage, and it's 7 of them. So if it is me, it's like I'm starting fresh in terms of what I'm going to show everybody else is love or family love or love in a relationship or what healthy love looks like. And I don't fault my parents for that. Right. It is what it is. But my truth is that I don't know what that looks like, so I have to kind of build it for myself.
So how do you build that for yourself?
Being true to who I am. For me and my relationships now, like I said, in the stage that I'm in with dating to marry, I have to make sure that, one, I'm showing up as me, however that looks like, and I can't tiptoe around somebody else's boundaries to make them comfortable. I kind of have to be true to myself. If what I'm saying or what I'm asking you of makes you uncomfortable, then you're not my person. And I have to honor that and walk away if it's not gracefully. Yeah, if it's not gracefully, what it needs to be. For me, at least. I don't know about
Okay, yeah. So let's go on to that, because you did say a couple things. So then how did you get to that place where you were like, okay, well, I'm not going to be afraid of, the boundaries and, the things that are important to you. Like, how did you get to that point? Because you're only, how old are you again?
30.
Yeah, you're 30. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of 30-year-olds out there just have it all mixed up in the head and not at that point. So how did you get to that place?
Knowing what I want. I mean, I know I want a family. I know I want to create that in home. A lot of people, it's scary. And of course it's scary because then you have to think about blending two separate into one, right? And that can be scary in itself because you have two different upbringings, two different disciplinary ways that you discipline. Maybe if you have kids, it's just two totally different people. But for me, I know what I want and that's what I'm going to go after. Just because I didn't see it doesn't mean that I can't create it. Amen. So, yeah.
Right. It's nothing for us to say.
Seriously, Brooke and Quencey, you're not getting off of it. Thank you for that. Okay, that was really good. So what about you? Like, how's your family actually?
my mom and like her wife, like they show such great love to each other. Like you can just feel it whenever you're around them. Like they sit on the couch together every night. They watch movies. They cuddle. They kiss. Like it's so I'm so lucky to be around that because I know a lot of people who don't see that. Like my dad and my mom got divorced when I was 8, but I don't really remember their relationship because there's nothing to remember. They really didn't talk. Like they lived together, but like not really. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he would just be downstairs, she was upstairs. So like, but they would still sleep in the same room. So I was like, oh, like they still do love each other, but they didn't. You know what I mean? But like I said, I was 8, so the memory is not really great. I mean, I remember just my mom and Keisha is her name. Like they are just so in love, like, and it's been 10 years and it's like, oh, like I want to love like that, you know? So I have a really healthy relationship with love, I think. And like friendships, I think, I don't really know how this has to do with like my family, like, but I used to pour a lot more than I should into friendships, I think, like you said, and then not receive that back. So now I think I'm finding myself with my like current group of friends, I feel like I'm not pouring in as much as they're giving me because I'm like scared to get hurt again, like by friends. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's just something that I really have to like figure out how to work through because I think I did get more hurt than I thought with my previous group just because I really, really loved all of them so much and I put all of me into them and I felt like I wasn't receiving that back. So now I think I'm like, I wouldn't say traumatized, that's not the right word, but just like guarded. Yeah, like I'm guarded more so now, and these group of girls are just wonderful, but it's a little bit harder for me to fully give myself after being hurt because I don't want that to happen again.
As you get older, though, I think that's going to work to your benefit because you can't be, what they call it now, the kids, they say if you're too green, like that opens the doors for.
I never heard that.
I don't know that one.
All right, when the kid, they say like you're a green light, like you're just open.
Oh, okay. So I mean,
like,
I am pretty open, so it's weird like that I'm being so guarded because I am pretty much an open book, but I think I'm just like, I don't know, I'm kind of trying to like not give myself so quickly like I did before just because, and it's so weird with like friendships, I'm being like I'm in a relationship, like because I'm so, but I'm so quick to like give my love to like my current boyfriend, like I was so quick to open up to him, but like with friends I think it's harder because I've never actually been hurt by somebody super bad in a relationship, but with friends I have, so I think it's
well then you just said it, it's because you've never been hurt before, so you're easy. It's easier for you to be vulnerable in a love relationship than as a friendship.
And I see it with like my mom and Keisha, like I see their love, but like I don't really see them hanging out with friends, like I don't, because they go out and do their own thing, like, obviously.
Even your dynamic of growing up seeing your mom, even though it's not the traditional way we think of love, right, with a man and a woman, I feel like the fact that you saw your mom in a loving relationship positively, it helps. It positively affects, to say, oh, love exists and that's what it's supposed to look like when I'm in a relationship. Like we didn't.
And so lucky I saw it like so young, like so you know, whenever like your brain is functioning the most, I feel like whenever you're young, like you learn the most, you can retain the most information, and so I'm really lucky that it happened when I was so young instead of her sticking it out with my dad for so long and then me being 18 and then they break up and I'm like, whoa.
So
my life would be so different.
As to why couples should not stay in a relationship for their children.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Because I think it gives your children a perception of like how love should be, but it's an unhealthy relationship. I think if you're thinking about getting a divorce, you just should, instead of holding on for your kids, because in the long run, it's bad for them, like for sure.
But it shows so much more as decision making, because your parents had to make a decision. That's a hard decision.
That is a hard decision.
Yeah,
and
that's
it wasn't
a hard
selfish.
decision. No,
it wasn't selfish.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a selfless decision, because hey, this isn't healthy, and Brooke means that much more to me than trying to stick this relationship out. You know, so I love that.
Yeah, hard decisions always breed the best lessons.
Yeah,
so like that.
Come on,
I thought I was
You too.
Whatever.
No, honestly, Brooke is here, honey. I'm sitting here. I'm like, this is a word that I probably don't need.
That's so funny. So then, what about you?
Oh, well, they pretty much just wrapped it all up. I can resonate most with Rocky. Single parent home, grew up with my mom. My brother can't say the same thing though. So I feel like I learned a lot from him and like, cause that was like my dog growing up. Like we didn't have the traditional bicker sibling relationship. Like we were close pretty much from the start. So he would always tell me stories about him and my mom. They were broken up, I believe, by the time I was born. Can't really put a timeline on it, but I never saw, just like Brooke said, I never saw mom and dad together. One thing I do like give my mom the utmost respect for is never bashing my father.
Amen.
Regardless of his actions, his words, his like she throw her little shots in here and there, don't get me wrong, but she always prided herself on they're going to see who he is when he gets older, when they get older. And that's exactly what happened. Now, it took 22, 23 years. But she's like, you're eventually going to see who he is. I don't have to bet. I don't have to. And my dad's not the worst man in the world, but he ain't the worst. But she's just like, I feel like she prioritized our well-being over her personal feelings, and I'll forever appreciate her for that, because having, regardless of who your dad is or how your parents are, having that relationship with both of them is important. One, because dad ain't just dad comes with grandmom, dad comes with aunt. Like I have family on his side too, and I feel like closer with my dad's side than I am with my mom's side. Why? Because my mom never created that static, never created that animosity. I hear my friend, oh, I don't fool my dad's side, I'm like,
That's
well,
sad, right?
yeah, like my grandma on my dad's side is my heart.
Me too.
So I feel like by her not bringing negativity into the dynamic of, because that was a love relationship for her not to bring that negativity into that relationship and expose us to that showed me, like, although I don't have a real relationship of love or what it looks like, I have a sense of understanding of what it is, because I know that it's a basis of unconditional love. And that's what I feel like my mom has for my dad. That's what I feel like my dad has for my mom. Regardless of what they went through, it's still that unconditional love. And that's one thing my family pride themselves on. Like, I don't ever know of anybody ever like really, dissing the family, or we have big breakups or big arguments at the Christmas dinner. None of that. It's just like, we family at the end of the day. Like, they really showed me what the true dynamic of family is, and I feel like it's always going to be based on unconditional love, and I carry that over into my relationships with my friends.
Yes, I was
Any of my friends can say that. It's always unconditional. If I fell out with a friend, I fell out with you, and I ain't never spin the block. I'm never turning back, because we fell out for a reason. If we have a little scuffle or something, I'm always willing. We're going to sit down. We're going to figure this out, because at the end of the day, I'm not leaving you. You're not leaving me. I'm going to need you. You're going to need me. That's what it's going to be. And I translate that to my love relationships as well. Still working on it. I'm still young, still, trying to maneuver things. But unconditional love is like really what I pride myself on when it comes to all relationships. We got to be able to agree to disagree. Like, we got to be able to,
and that's okay.
Yeah, so no, we're not on the same page, but I don't hate you because we ain't on the same page. Like, we could still kick it.
Yeah.
We just don't like the same. Your favorite color ain't red. Mine is.
That's important. That piece of, we can argue, but just agree to disagree is important. And like I was saying earlier, with this dating to marry phase that I'm in, that's something that's difficult, because I might not be that right now, but I'm a little mouthy, very opinionated, and I've had to put that into practice. Like, we can agree to disagree.
It's
but
hard.
Even though we disagree, that's not going to alter how I interact with you. That's another piece that's like difficult. Yeah, that's very difficult.
I feel like
but
it depends what you disagree on. Like, we can't disagree on life values. We can disagree about what we're eating.
Agreed.
We can disagree on, like, stuff like that. But I do think it's important to date people that feel the same about things as you. Like, work ethic, life values, religion.
So with that,
like,
can I ask a question?
So many things.
What if you're on two total different spectrums? how do you kind of like work to meet in the middle? Like, is it you going out your way to like, hey, ride my wave because I got this figured out? Like, let's take work ethic, for example. Let's say I'm fooling with somebody who works overnight. I work during the day, so he thinks he could just sleep his whole day away. Let's get up and get something. Like, let's get to it. How do you like compromise? And
I'm going to say, and I'm in this moment. Now, a year from now, I could feel different, but I'm going to tell you how I feel in this moment.
And that's fair because you're ever evolving. Go ahead.
Never go out your way. Don't do it. It's not worth it. I feel like if you find yourself, it's okay to compromise, meet people in the middle. But if you find yourself using those terms or having those emotions of, this is making me go a whole different route of what I feel comfortable with, don't do it. It's not your person. It's not your journey.
It's being authentic to yourself.
Don't do it.
Yes.
It's not worth it.
Keeping it real.
Keeping
Don't
it real.
do it. It's not worth it. So if you have somebody who, like the example you use, you work day shift, he work nights. If some days he's gonna have to sleep all day because your body gets tired. But if without you having to say anything, if he's not saying, you know what, today's Wednesday, I'm gonna be tired today for the sake of seeing Quencey. If that is not happening without you initiating it, that is not your journey.
period. No dad.
Wow. Okay.
Hypothetically, that's nobody's situation here. I was just
Right. You're safe. This is the safe space, right, y'all? Safe space. Yeah. Okay. So we talked a little bit about boundaries a little bit with you, Racquelle, right? But I have a question. What have you learned about setting boundaries in relationships, and how has this impacted your mental well-being?
Well, I'll start with this one. Yes. I am not good at that at all. I just feel like I don't have a lot of, like I said, turning 30, I did in January. I feel like I'm doing like a lot of like self-reflection, trying to put me first more. And when I say put me first, like even before my child. And the reason why I say that, because like I'm a damn good mother, yes. But sometimes if I'm not taking care of me, I can't take care of him. So I'm getting into the space where it's like, it's time for me to take care of me so I can continue to take care of him. So I would say like, I'm not good at setting boundaries because I am so like that person. I'm so understanding. I'm so, let's figure it out. I'm so, what do you have to bring to me that I can just put towards? Like, you know, whether if it's work, like I do it at work, I do it in professional setting, like working short or, you know, like doing jobs that I shouldn't be doing. That's not my job title, whether if it's at home, whether if it's with family, I'm always willing to fill in the gaps to make it work. And it's something that I'm no longer willing to stretch myself thin for, because then my mental health is like, I'm on her couch, ready to have a meltdown. Literally. And I'm like, I'm coming in, open the door, put my feet up, I'm coming to cry, like, you know, and while I do appreciate that, it's like I can't continue to allow situations to take me there. I do need to be somebody who sets boundaries and stand on it, and also like create them for myself too. You know, like I'll say, for an example, I had a situation at work yesterday. I won't get into that, but I had a conflict with a coworker, and at the end of the conversation, her thing was like, let's hug it out. And usually I am, right? I'm like, you know what? Sure, because I don't want it to be any bad blood. But I said to myself, like, no, I'm upset, and that's okay for me to be upset. We can work together. I can be respectful and I can be professional, but I don't have to allow you into my energy or my space and allow you to touch me. So I'm not going to hug you. That's not my job description. We had a conversation. We're leaving here as two adults that still work here, and we're going to move on, but I don't have to have a conversation with you. You do not have to text me or call me. I don't have, you know, like just setting boundaries. And I was so proud of myself that I know it's something so small, but I'm not a big hugger. So to allow you to hug me was something out of my comfort zone, and I was grateful that I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah, and you know what? I do applaud the millennial Gen Z millennials, y'all all mixed in there a little bit, that you're able to say no, right? And you're able to be selfish in a sense where you're just like, yeah, this doesn't serve me well, I'm out.
See you.
Yeah, you do it so well. So I just want you to know that our generation, we admire you for that. Like we really do. And we're learning from you. I do think we're learning from you. Yeah, because my girls, they'll say, no, we don't need to do this. I'm like, we don't? Okay, yeah, I don't need to do this.
Being Gen Z, like you saying that you don't set boundaries is weird to me. Like set boundaries like that.
Yeah.
Like with
You're not people
a partner.
pleasers.
Yeah.
I think our generation were people pleasers, like to a fault. And y'all like, no, I'm not doing this. Shut your phones off at 5 o'clock. You can't reach me until tomorrow at 8 a.m. Do not disturb. If you text me, I want to look at it. Okay, I'll look at it tomorrow. I love that about y'all. I do. I love that when you set your boundaries. I love it. So I'm watching. Yeah. I'm definitely watching. You said you got to. And then Racquelle, why are you looking at Quencey like you want to say something? I love it. So how important is it to have a support system? We talked about it a little bit. And what advice would you give someone struggling to find their tribe? How important is it? And what advice would you give someone?
Support system. I think this is like the biggest thing I'd say to my students at school, because one thing about their little generation, they'll burn a bridge whether it serves them or whether it doesn't. Like they just don't. They're way more bold, and like they set boundaries probably from the womb. Like they set boundaries years ago. Like they're really going to stand on what they believe in, and that's just what it is. So I try to like tell them, like, you're going to need people. Why are you being disrespectful to Mrs. Smith down the hall? You might need her a year from now to write your letter of recommendation. You're going to forget. She's not. Don't like burn unnecessary bridges just out of your own personal feelings. Like we have to learn how to manage our emotions. Like, okay, she told you to go to class. That's because you're skipping. Yeah. So go to class. So like there's no animosity, but it's like that support. I pride myself on support. I make sure I reach out to my friends. Like Rocky was saying, my family dynamic, we're not too affectionate. It's not too, but one thing I have kind of learned and kind of have been trying to practice is being affectionate with my family more. Like even with my aunt who I just walked in, we don't hug, we don't say hi, I'm going to start trying to do that more.
Start trying to do that.
That's just not how we were raised. So I just feel like the support is like at the top of my list, because I know when I'm down and out or when I'm at rock bottom, I need people. It's hard to climb yourself out of a hole by yourself. Like I need that hand sometimes, even if it's just there, even if you're not pulling me up, just to know that it's there, that I could still climb out. I could call Rocky in tears and I know she's going to listen. No judgment. I can call, like I have friends who I can lean on, whose house I could stay at. I have a mom who will never tell me no unless she needs to. Same thing with my dad's side. Like the support really goes a long way. And when I think back to like my lowest moments, who was it that got me out? My support system. Whether it was financially, mentally, physically. My brother used to be like, yo, get up, we going to the gym. Right. Like little stuff like that. I'll be needing that extra kick, that extra push. And I feel like we're all deserving of that, because we're all human beings. We all feel like you're not going to have a good day every day.
You're
it's
not
just
going to
not,
have a good day every
and
day.
it's okay not to have a good day every day.
It's okay.
And it's okay to establish relationships with other people who are going to help you get through those days. I feel like we all use people. I say this all the time. We all use people. When you hear of using somebody, it's like, oh, you're using me. No, it's a negative connotation. But yeah, we all use people. Where it comes a problem is where we misuse those people. So we can use, just don't misuse. And that's what I feel like the support really comes into play. I really like that's one thing that sparked in my head with when it came to that question with my students. I really tell them that all the time, because y'all are too headstrong and think y'all got it. Don't know nothing. Right. So, like, listen to your support system and know I'm here to pick you up when you need it. So really pride myself on support. It's super important. It's probably the most important thing.
That's awesome. Brooke, what about you?
I think having a support system, especially with doing like this job, being a real estate agent, like it's hard. Like it's really hard. Like making yourself get up when you are just like, I don't have to do anything today. Like there is no 9 to 5. Like, and
there's no real accountability.
That's all I've seen is 9 to 5s, and just so there is no accountability. Like it's hard to get up sometimes because I'm just like, my bed is so comfy right now. You know, like I think I should just stay here and just tell her that I'll come tomorrow. Like, because I'm in the PC program. Yeah. If it's just a coaching program.
Right. I was gonna say, no, break that down.
Yeah, it's a coaching program at Keller Williams for just anybody who needs some extra help, and that is me. But but yeah, it's great. But I think that having a support system is literally the only thing that kept me going with real estate, because if I didn't have people saying like, hey, where are you at? Or my mom being like, you need to go to work. Like, you like what you're doing. And I'm just like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's super important because yeah, without those people, I probably just would have like gone back to serving because it's quick, easy money. But that's not what I want to do my whole life. Like, I want to be a real estate agent. I just sometimes, it's not like I forget, but
So
it's
you lose
sometimes
sight.
I just, yeah, like I
You lose
lose
sight
sight
of the
because
end
I'm
goal.
just like, I want to hang out with my friends today. Or, you know,
Absolutely.
like I want to go like hang out with my mom. I want to go to the beach with my brother. You know, I like, there's just little things, but I'm like, wait, I have a job. You know what I mean? And people say like you wake up unemployed, not like, I don't like to think
That's
of
a
it
real
that
thing.
way.
They don't know that in real estate.
I
wake
mean,
up every day unemployed.
You do, but I hate to think of it that way. I like to think of it like I have a job. I am employed because that keeps me going. When I hear like, you know, you wake up unemployed, then okay, I don't have a job. I can do what I want. But I make sure that I say I wake up
That was supposed to be a
employed.
motivator.
No, it does not motivate me. I think
that motivated me. I'm not unemployed.
No, that does not motivate me at all. Like when I hear when I wake up, I'm like, I am employed. I have somebody to tend to. I have clients to tend to. Like, you know, like maybe I'm not making money today, but in 2 months I will be, you know, like and if I keep pushing it off, then it's going to be 3 months, then it's 4 months. And then maybe they're going to go find somebody else who's more efficient. So
it's easy not to do the hard things.
and just having like,
Oh my God,
especially
so
at
easy.
my office, everybody has been like so welcoming and so supportive, and like they have really like shown me what a support system is at work.
It's easy to support her, y'all. Seriously. Yes.
It's just like so wonderful having like everybody in the office, people of like nature, you know, supporting me and telling me that I can do it even on days where I'm like, I can't. Like people like you kind of just being like, you can do it, you know, like come join my team, come have a meeting with me, like come sit down with me. I'm like, okay. Like, and then 20 minutes later I'm fine and I'm like, yeah, I got this. Like, you know, I sometimes like my love language is words of affirmation. Sometimes I do just need words. Like I don't need anything but words. Like I know I can do it. It's just
Need an extra push.
yeah, exactly.
I know that's right.
The support system is very important to me.
Top of the list.
How about you, Miss McQuay? She gonna start
Okay, so in light of keeping it real, I had my daughter's 8. I had her my last year of college. So when you think about, for me, when I think about support, it immediately goes to my mom, right? I mean, it goes to my mom because she, at the time, was a principal in Harrisburg, and she would leave on weekends to come help me. Not only did she leave on weekends to come help me, but we hired a nanny to come live with me while I was in college.
Really?
Yes. So and obviously finished. So it's like, again, it's weird because it's like, oh, we're not affectionate and all that, but at the same time, I know there's a lot of stuff that I would not be able to do without my mom, even now. And if we speak about trauma, whatever. But I also would not allow my daughter to stay with anybody overnight unless it was my mom. So unless my mom could keep my kid, I wasn't going anywhere. Or unless she would be there for an extended period of time, I'm not going. Unless my baby can come with me. So even with me having a nanny, there were days that Layla came to class with me, and I would sit at the back of the class. She was hungry. I was breastfeeding her at the back of the classroom. And my professors luckily were okay with that.
HBCU.
Yeah. My professors were okay with that because I was still pushing through. I had her February and I graduated in May. So, I mean, I had a little bit left to go. I did do my senior year pregnant, which was 0 out of 10 would not recommend, but I did it. But in terms of my support system, my mom is definitely at the center. And then obviously I have my sister, my dad now at the time, not him, but now I have him. And then some of my friends, but even then in college, it was hard for them to be a support system for me during their senior year. You know, so that was hard. But now where I am in terms of providing a support for the people that are around me, I take pride in that.
Yeah.
Like this past weekend, I was in Chicago with a friend of mine who had a convention, and I was there as his guest or whatever. And I left Chicago on Saturday morning, came to Philly for a baby shower and went back to Chicago.
Wow.
So for me, and I said it in the moment, I was like, I could have just stayed in Chicago, but it's more of the showing up and showing my support because one, you did not have to invite me to your baby shower.
Right.
But two, I know what it was like being a single mom, lonely, with not much support other than my mom and my immediate family. So I want to be able to provide that for other people because I know what that looks like on the opposite end. So now where I am in providing support, that's super important for me. Like that feeds me when it's like, oh, Racquelle, she's going to show up. Like, and if she can't show up, she's going to let me know, but she's definitely going to show up. So for me, that's like a warm, fuzzy feeling. Like makes me feel good inside.
I love that. All right. So to end this amazing segment, because y'all did really good. Like seriously, I was inspired, and I know people that are watching are going to be inspired too. If you could go back to your younger self, what advice would you give her and why?
I can start this one.
Yeah, go ahead,
Go
girl.
ahead.
Did you see her bounce
What's
off
up,
the chair?
Brooke?
She did.
I don't know.
Our young whippersnapper.
little edgy.
Yes. I did.
You did.
Oops. Okay. I would just say like to not give up on myself and not be so insecure and passive because I was so passive. Like people would, like in real estate, like when I first started, like I joined Keller Williams in April, I got my license in January. People were like, you're not going to get a client for 2 years, like you have to save a lot of money, like it's not going to go well. Like my first 2 years were really hard and I'm sure it's going to be even worse since you're young. Nobody's going to trust you. No one's going to believe you. No one's going to
But tell them, bro. Tell them where you at. Tell them.
Yeah.
I know, that's a flex. Yeah, no, flex. Flex. You have to flex on them. You have to.
I like Brooke. Brooke, when you turn 21, we want our first drink. We want our first drink.
Influence you. They're bad influence.
When you turn 21, Brooke, we going
But you're doing the darn thing. You're doing the darn thing.
Well, I mean, they just were kind of, I was just like, oh my God, okay, like, you're right. I mean, I'm going to struggle, but like, I should have just been like, screw you. Like, let me go talk to someone else because you, like, about the support system, you are obviously not somebody that I want in my support system.
Absolutely.
I don't need people telling me, like, you're going to fail. I need people telling me you're going to succeed and this is how, instead of you're going to fail, this is how not to fail. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
But I need you to toot your horn. Tell them what you're doing right now in your business.
Yeah, let us know.
I currently have 2 buyer agencies signed
Period.
in less than a month. And I'm going to meet with a listing appointment client on Friday.
Period.
Yes.
And that's all just within this month. So yeah.
That's what your 2 years.
Honestly,
It's all who you surround yourself with.
it really is. It really is because that was with a different brokerage, and it was just they were nice, but it was just not my kind of group. Like I want to see quick results, and I will do anything to see those quick results. And I think that they were more so just like lollygagging, but I want to put everything into it. So I think that my advice is to not be so passive, like kind of tell people what you want and go get it instead of just saying, okay.
Sounds like you was around people who were afraid that you were going to do better than them.
Yeah.
And there's power in the tongue.
And obviously, like, to be more confident too, because I really did start off like very, very shy. Like I would have never done this like 2 months ago. I would have been like, Erica, you're sweet now.
She's like, a podcast? Sure.
Yeah, like I wouldn't have done it. So I think like with confidence comes results. Like you really do start to see it. Like, and I just starting in June, like I really started to open up to people in the office. Like I won an award at the office as well. So that was really exciting. And just like that all came because I started kind of showing everybody my real self. And like, obviously it's nerve-wracking at first, but people do like me, you know, like, and you can't like be scared to show your real self. If they don't like you, that's their problem, not yours. Absolutely. So I think that's my advice to my younger self.
I love it. Younger self like last year.
Yeah.
Quencey, what you got for us?
My biggest thing to my younger self would be to do what makes you happy and not what makes others happy, whether it's your family, your coaches, your teachers. Just to give a little background, I'm gonna flex a little bit.
Go ahead.
Growing up, I was like really hard body in school, so like I don't think I've ever gotten a B or a C. Like I was very distinguished when it came to my academics. Sports was the same thing. I did basketball, softball, and I did cheerleading. Um, I feel like my biggest regret is not taking softball seriously. Rocky was my teammate. We had
I
like
did softball as well.
yeah, we were like that in high school.
Our
Like
team should have.
like our team should have won states.
Yeah, we should have.
Yes.
Yes, we really should have.
But one thing I always
You
took
looked time out. You looked so surprised.
like really.
I was stereotyping. I was thinking,
Yeah, that's
but Brooke, you didn't have to call me out.
I'm sorry.
Brooke, you have the keys to life, girl. I want you to know.
You're good. You're 19.
Yeah, she has the keys.
You're good.
She has the keys to life.
But yeah, no, like I don't know. We were really good, and one thing people always said to me, basketball, 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 because I was like, but basketball's the more popular sport. And I say today, like even I coach basketball and softball. I'm like, I was better in softball than I was basketball. Like, don't get me wrong, I was good in baseball and basketball. But I look at the articles that were written about me in high school for softball, and I'm like, I was like Derek Jeter. I was really good. So like, just really do what you want to do. Don't let people persuade, because I feel like people persuaded me to not like softball. Persuaded me to go after basketball because, hey, you'll get a scholarship here, you'll get looks here, instead of just staying true to what, really served me. And that was softball at the time. Like softball could have really, I still went to Howard and did my thing, but I could have like really probably went D1 for softball and like really did my thing.
That's awesome.
So,
that is like a little bit of tidbit I didn't even know.
I tell my younger self, do what makes you happy. It's kind of hard at that young age to know what makes you happy. And I think that's what I struggle with too. I didn't really, like I said, my mom let us fly. So it wasn't like she's like, hey, you're good at softball. You need to let me pay for some trainings for softball instead of that. She's doing what I want to do. Like my mom was always, hey, if you want to do this, let me know. I'll support you. If you don't, let me know. I'll also support you. I'm not pushing nothing on you. Whatever you're leaning towards is what you're going to be able to do. But yeah, I will just really tell myself, do the things that serve you. It's kind of hard to kind of decipher that, but whatever gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling inside, and whatever is allowing you to accomplish and to grow and to succeed, go after it, because it's going to work out in the end.
So I'm sure you're going to help somebody.
Piggyback, I have two things. One that I thought of when you asked the question, and the second one when she was talking about being in school and being like very good academically. That's something I had to learn when I went to college, was how to study. I didn't know how to study when I went. To be honest, I still don't know how to study. Before I went to college, it was more so pay attention in class. I take the test, I'm gonna pass because I paid attention in class. Like I didn't know how to study.
Right.
So for anybody listening, if you're like in high school going into college, learn some study techniques before you get there. Just do yourself a favor before you get there. You're gonna need them.
Yeah.
Chemistry was my slap in the face. When I started getting F's on the test, I said, "Oh, this is not me.
Everyone's
This is not
moment.
me." That was my
Biology
moment where it's
and
just like,
chemistry, yeah.
"Oh, baby, you gonna need to go back into that book." But one thing to tell my younger self is that my mistakes don't define me. Yeah, I think I would sometimes beat myself up because I had this image. Again, like I said, my mother was a principal. She was well known in the city in terms of the school district that she was working in. So it's like I had this image that I was trying to maintain for her. And then if I were to make a mistake, like I would beat myself up for months at a time about it. And my mistakes didn't define who I was. Like I was still a great student. I was still a great person. I still did what I needed to do in terms of school, professional life, even with like working in high school and all of that. But that's something I would definitely tell myself, is that even though you make a mistake, because you're going to make mistakes, like that's going to happen. That's just life. But those don't define you. The biggest thing that you get out of your mistakes when you make them is that one is either you'll never do that again. And if that does happen again, you know how to get yourself out of it.
Right.
So that's for me. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. That's right. You're gonna bring us home. What you got for us, Miss Daneisha?
I would say for my younger self, I think one thing that, and I'm still learning, is you don't have to always get it right. I feel like that is my biggest thing in life. Even though I don't feel like I ever get it right, I feel like that's always my goal. I feel like I live my life in a way where I'm always like, what is the right thing instead of what is the thing for Daneisha. And I think that I would tell my younger self that because, like you said, you're going to make mistakes. And growing up, I feel like I never accepted that. Like, it's like there is no, I'll do this again. I'll start again. There is no, like start this class. And if it doesn't work out, I'll start it later. You came here for one thing, you're going to finish it, and that's it. I never accepted that it's okay for things not to work out. And I think that I'm still learning that, but I think that if I could tell my younger self that, there would be a lot of things different.
That's a common theme.
Yeah, I'm
Mistakes will
very
happen.
hard on me, for sure.
I think I heard 2 or maybe 3, maybe all 4 of y'all say you're not huggers. I feel like giving each and every one of y'all a hug.
I'm working on it. I said I'm working on it.
No, I'm a hugger now, but in like it's so weird. Like I can hug my friends more than I hug my family. It's weird.
At school.
So I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm sure you touched somebody today. Like seriously. You're welcome. And I would love to see how we can make this, like you come back again, because I think your generation needs to hear more voices like yourselves. I mean, you, Brooke, being 19, talking about my passive self, which was last year. Now you're doing it.
Getting awards.
First client in 30 days.
I mean, it's just amazing. And then you having your own book, you know what I mean? And you just, all the kids love you. I mean, there's Miss Q. Like, seriously, I'm seeing principal in the making here. Really. And then, you know what, Miss Daneisha, there's never
Black in
a
medicine,
moment where I just don't love our conversations. Like, seriously. So thank you all. And I challenged my production team. I said, hey, we're going to have a total of 5 people. They said 5 people. Let me get back to you on that. And they made it happen. So thank you to them. Yes. So anyone that's watching, if you feel as though this resonated with you, please share in the comments. We would love for your feedback because we're going to tag them as well. And they're going to give you some advice from their perspective. Okay. And then also, if there's something else that you would like for us to talk about, a topic or even a question that you had for them, put it in because we're going to have them back soon enough so we can address it as well. Maybe not all 4 of them together. Maybe it'll be 2 of them. Maybe it'll be all of them. Who knows? But we'll have them back together again. Thank you so much for watching. Again, thank you to Musser Homes for allowing us to host this beautiful, in this beautiful setting. And we just truly appreciate you. Hey, guess what, builders? We do podcasts in multi-million-dollar homes, and then we actually advertise afterwards. You want to be part of that movement? Reach out to me.